And they're like, well, there's just never going to be. Well, so now here's another kind of corruption that goes along with that. So this is the medical examiner. This is in the charging complaint, and I'll read it to you. It says, the Hennepin County medical examiner conducted Mr. Floyd's autopsy. The full report is pending, but the medical examiner has made the following preliminary findings. The autopsy revealed no physical findings that support a diagnosis of traumatic asphyxia or strangulation. Mr. Floyd had underlying health conditions, including coronary artery disease and hypersensitive heart disease. The combined effects of Mr. Floyd being restrained by the police, his underlying health conditions, and any potential intoxicants in his system likely contributed to his death. So that's like a weird system. If it was like East Germany and they would have the cops go out and kill someone, and then they'd have the medical examiner say, yeah, he died because he had bad heart. That's the kind of stuff you would think would happen in East Germany or Nazi Germany. But that's the kind of stuff that's happening right here in Minneapolis and in the Midwest. Like they have this system set up where they have this corrupt medical examiner, and so no matter what the cop does, it's never going to be because the guy choked him, literally strangled him for 9 minutes. 3 minutes after he had already died. He strangled him for 3 minutes after he had no more pulse. And the medical examiner's like, nope, not the cop's fault. So that's what, and by the way, the lawyer who got the killer of Philip Castile off is the guy who's lawyering up for this guy too. So you don't think he's going to take this and put it in front of a jury and say the medical examiner says it's not, he didn't kill him? So I guess I'm just buttressing the point was that this is the thing that people see. There is no justice. And there's never going to be justice. And then they just got their entire country looted by the oligarchs. And everybody's sitting around going, why aren't they more peaceful? Well, we're a nation of adult children of alcoholics. We don't get mad at the people who are inflicting the pain in this country. We get mad at the people who are pointing it out. And that's what these riots are. They're pointing it out. So let me just ask you, Chris, about that. What do you have to say about that medical examiner's report?
Well, it's all there. It's an interlocking system. So if you look at the 39 people who were killed in the Attica prison uprising, it was the same thing. They fixed all the cops went in and they shot. There were no guns. None of the prisoners who did the uprising had guns. 39 people were shot and killed, and they just fixed all the autopsy reports to cover it up. That's part of the system. They all work. They all complement each other. You know, the district attorney, the working with the police chief, working with, you know, it's all part of. They all watch each other's back because it's all again about maintaining a system of social control. I mean, we talk about police reform. You go all the way back to the Johnson administration and follow it. Naomi Murakawa actually wrote a good book about this called The First Civil Right. But it's every effort to sort of professionalize the police, diversify the police, give the police more equipment, give the police more training has made the police more omnipotent.
Yes.
And you can just watch the trajectory of it. So they don't want to reform the police. I mean, especially since they know what's coming in the next few months. The police, along with the prison system, are kind of the bulwark that they're going to use, that they have used ever since they created these kind of industrial empty zones where nobody can have work. And then they did all sorts of other stuff with it. I mean, look at Chicago. They wiped out all the public housing. You know that better than I do. People didn't, and they would wipe out all the housing to build throughways so everybody could go off to the suburbs. People don't even have a place to live anymore. I mean, this has been a long system, and you know, my frustration is that we talk about you know, police brutality or overt racism, but we don't talk about the institutional structures. I mean, sometimes I'll get a student I teach in the prison, and they'll say, well, you know, nobody ever called me the N-word, nobody. And I say, okay, describe to me your public school in Camden, New Jersey. Camden per capita is the poorest city in the United States. And of course, it's like metal detectors, police in the halls, no lab equipment, overcrowded classes, the roof falling in, etc. And I said, okay, now let me describe to you the public school in Princeton, New Jersey, where I live. And I'll tell you that's racism. That's how racism works. And one of the frustrations that I have when I watch these discussions is that we never talk about how the system has institutionalized racism so effectively, pushing people who have no option into the illegal economy. I mean, so I get students who get out of prison and they want, like, for instance, right now, I got students in the halfway houses. They can't get any work because of COVID. These people have, I teach through Rutgers University, so they're in the college program. If you have over a 3.1, you can matriculate to Rutgers. They're great people. They're very bright. They're dedicated students. They don't have any money because they can't work. So, you know, what are they going to do? We can help a few of them, but we don't have resources to. It's just the whole system is built in such a way to push you right back into where they want you. That's why there's such a high recidivism rate, because and this is what Michelle Alexander, I think, correctly points out. You come out and you're just thrown into this criminal caste system where you can't get public assistance, you can't get housing, you can't get food stamps, you can't get work, you can't get anything. And then you're funneled right back into this system, which is really about money. I mean, at this point, that's what prisons are about. Prisons are a multi-billion-dollar industry for all sorts of corporations, and it's their lobbyists down there who are funding Pelosi and Schumer and Mitch McConnell and everyone else, and they're the ones writing the legislation that make sure these people get funneled right back into these sweatshops. That's, and so it's so much more pernicious than just murderous psychopathic cops, and they're out there. When Tim DeChristopher, remember, he was the environmentalist who bid on public lands, and then they sent him off to federal prison because he bought up all sorts of lands, but he didn't really have the money.
Yeah.
But he got out of prison. He was in for 20 months or something. But I talked to him when he got out, and somebody asked him, so, you spent a couple years in prison. How many people did you meet in that time in prison that you think should be in prison? He said, I met about 50 people that I think should be in prison, and 10 of them were prisoners.
Hey, this is the part where I tell you where our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then I would tell you to go join our premium, but nobody has a fucking job. So why don't you just enjoy the video?